Colorado's urban waters offer unique places for recreational and social opportunities and are essential to supporting wildlife habitat and providing drinking water for downstream neighbors. Lower Bear Creek flows from the outfall of Bear Creek Reservoir in Lakewood through Denver to the confluence with the South Platte in the city of Sheridan. Bear Creek is one of many tributaries of the South Platte River in Colorado and is designated as a recreational water body. In 2010, Lower Bear Creek was listed on Colorado's 303D, or Impaired Waters list, because of high levels of E. coli. We'll take a brief look at what Groundwork Denver and its collaborative partners have been doing since 2012 to address pollution in Lower Bear Creek and how you can actively protect urban waters for future generations.
Lower Bear Creek is the portion of Bear Creek that is below the Bear Creek Reservoir, just east of Morrison in Lakewood. The beauty of it is, of course, a natural beauty. There's the intrinsic ability to go outside and enjoy it. But I think that really is the deeper beauty. It's having these places in an urban setting. Denver is in a place that is essentially a grass desert, and naturally the only green places are along these rivers, so it's one of the major places, one of the most important places for us to maintain green spaces for recreation. That also, attention to these rivers bleeds into water quality, which is equally important for quality of life in this very dry setting in Colorado. We're worried about Lower Bear Creek because of the high level of E. coli contamination in the waterway. E. coli has gotten into Bear Creek likely through fecal contamination and sewage, but that's not clearly known. That's why we're doing ongoing investigation, is to identify where the E. coli is coming from.
So when especially within an urban environment, because you have a lot of impervious surfaces and impacted ground, that water, when there's a wet weather event, which means either rain or snow event, you can have runoff from the event that goes into a ditch or a small tributary, and it all funnels down into the basin, and the basin is the Bear Creek. So everything collects, everything from the land collects into the Bear Creek.
E. coli is an indicator organism.
It's also incredibly easy to track. Microbiologists have been studying E. coli for almost a century now. E. coli is a commensallate, meaning it lives in the gut of mammals, but we also expel E. coli as well as other coliforms when we do our business.
E. coli would get there then because it lives in the guts of warm-blooded animals through the release of that fecal contamination. And our concern is that because it's there, other fecal contamination is most likely there, and that includes other types of bacteria, viruses, things like hepatitis, and things like protozoa, which includes Cryptosporidium, Giardia, things that can really make people sick as well.
The EPA has set levels at 126 coliform forming units per 100 milliliters. What that means is there's 126 organisms capable of generating a colony. We regularly go over that during monitoring sampling of Bear Creek in the winter and in the summer.
But it's intermittent. Sometimes it doesn't exceed the water quality standard, and sometimes it does. It depends on the day that you're looking at it, and that's why it's hazardous to have contact in Bear Creek.
Basically, if it exceeds this range, which it generally has, the state of Colorado determines that the water that the stream is impaired, and it puts it on something called the 303D list. So that's why the state and Groundwork Denver are really taking a look at this stream. It's a high priority for them.
The only way we can really protect ourselves from the E. coli is simply to avoid contact, and if we do come in contact, be mindful of it to avoid further contamination of ourselves. And what I mean by that is we play in the river, we have the water on us, we don't want to go eat, touch our face, mucous membranes, most importantly the mouth. That's how we reintroduce it into our system, and that can become a health risk.
If you're planning on eating after contact with the water, you should definitely wash your hands. Definitely don't wade or swim with any sort of open wounds, or if you've been ill recently and you might have a compromised immune system.
If it's rained recently, that can stir up sediment, which contains high levels of bacteria, so it may not be safe to get in the water within a couple of days after it rains. Areas where the water is moving slowly or is standing are areas where bacteria can concentrate and grow, so we suggest staying out of those areas. Storm sewers, another area that may be a source of bacteria. We recommend not playing in front of a storm sewer.
So how to solve the problem with fecal contamination in Bear Creek? Where we are right now is that we are analyzing the data that we have, and Groundwork Denver is working on the watershed plan, and through data analysis and some watershed analyzation, we really want to be able to figure out where the fecal contamination is really coming from. We're also hoping to do some source tracking, which can be done a number of ways, but the method we're looking at is a molecular method in which we can take levels of a certain type of bacteria that's also a fecal bacteria, and we can generally see whether it's coming from a human source, a cow source, a dog source, things like that, so that we can really sort of have that data in our back pocket to target the source of the contamination.
We tell folks about activities that they can do, in particular picking up after your pets, because pet waste contains harmful bacteria like E. coli that can be washed into area surface waters. Picking up your litter and disposing of it properly. Trash also can be washed into waterways, and in certain parts of Denver it's a really big problem. Using your fertilizer and pesticides as recommended on the manufacturer's labels, and not doing it before a rainstorm.
You can protect water quality by having the oil in your vehicle changed at a professional auto shop. Or if you change the oil yourself, be sure to take the oil to an auto shop for proper disposal.
Lower Bear Creek is a natural wonder in Denver Metro's urban environment. Join Groundwork Denver and our partners by protecting water quality at home and get involved in stewardship of the creek. For more information, visit www.groundworkdenver.org or call 303-455-5600. For information about water quality in Lower Bear Creek in Denver, visit www.denvergov.org. We'll see you on Lower Bear Creek.